is Golic and Wingo for Tuesday, February 18th.
It was a scary night Monday in Daytona.
Ryan Newman to the lead of the Daytona 500.
Does anybody have anything left for the race leader? Ryan Newman off turn 4.
Checkered flag is waving at the start-finish line. Who will get here first? Newman down. Oh, he's going to get turned.
Always chasing thunder. Always chasing thunder.
Ryan Newman is being treated at Halifax Medical Center. He's in serious condition, but doctors have indicated his injuries are non-life-threatening.
It's a celebration, but it's a muted celebration right now as we wait.
Ryan, we worked so well together. That's really how we got the lead. He takes precedence over everything going on right now.
Daytona 500 yesterday was obviously a victorious day for Denny Hamlin as he has the incredible honor of becoming part of a small class of people that have ever won back-to-back. He gets his third win in 5 years. But the story of it, the cloud over the Daytona 500 is Ryan Newman, who is, we know right now, is in serious condition after just a horrific crash at the very end of the Daytona 500. And guys, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. There's certain crashes you see in the movies and you think, wow, how did somebody think of that? When I kept watching it last night over and over again, that's what I kept thinking of. It looked like something directed out of a movie every bit as much as it looked like anything that was actually real life.
But we've seen crashes in NASCAR. We've seen, as we heard, there hadn't been a death in the top 3 circuits since, 2001, that the safety issues that these guys have now is incredible, but we obviously know it's still such a risky thing. Even saying that, seeing this crash, and then everything that went together, seeing the crash, you got no information. They brought out the shields, the black shields to kind of block the car. The car was on its slid on its hood. The car got slammed while it was in the air on the driver's side, and another car going full speed. All of that adding up to, and the first thing we all know in sports or when something is being broadcast is how quickly can you get information of at least something? Players down on the field in football not moving. You look for any sign of movement, anything, and you want to get it out there right away. That was the scary part of this to me, is nothing was getting out. They went off air with basically knowing nothing more of what was going on.
Yeah, we learned he was taken to the hospital, though, and the injuries are deemed to be non-life-threatening, but he is in serious condition. So you just wait for the update on there. Yeah. But getting that alone and just hearing non-life-threatening, I think, was a big weight off for a lot of people. There's still plenty of ways to go, and it's certainly not something that's done, so we'll keep you up to date with what we know.
One thing I want to make sure everybody is aware of, and this is important, last night Ryan McGee was on Freddie and Fitzsimmons. There's a lot of controversy in the moment about watching Denny Hamlin celebrate this moment while a wreck is happening, and it shows a little bit of lack of perspective on exactly what was happening in that moment. And Ryan McGee cleared up any questions about it when he said this.
When a race ends, it is a confusing, crazy environment. And in the case of Denny Hamlin, he was already doing, burnouts and donuts and all that stuff. Well, he had unhooked his radio at that point. And his spotter was the person that communicates with him from the roof of the racetrack, he had gone down to Ryan Newman's spotter to try and get some information to deliver. And I was standing in victory lane and standing 2 feet from Joe Gibbs. And for folks that don't know, this is Joe Gibbs, the Washington Redskins coach, the Hall of Famer. And he is Denny Hamlin's boss. He owns that race car. And Joe Gibbs walked into victory lane and had no idea. And when Denny Hamlin pulled his Toyota into victory lane, he had no idea. The instant they knew, they shut it down. And so anyone who's criticizing them right now doesn't understand how all this works.
Important perspective from Ryan McGee, who joins us at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll get his thoughts and updates on anything he knows at that point. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Jason fits in for Trey with Mike Golic Jr. So that's not the only thing going on in sports over the course of yesterday. Obviously, we continue to hear from Major League Baseball stars about the Astros and the sign-stealing scandal, and some have come out pretty loudly. It was a big moment yesterday, to say the least, when maybe the biggest star, the guy we keep saying, man, we want personality from. Mike Trout is the guy we keep begging for personality. Mike Trout went off yesterday when he said this.
I don't agree with the punishments. The player's not getting anything. It was a player-driven thing. It sucks to because, like you said, a guy's career has been affected. A lot of people, lost jobs. It was tough. It would be me going up to the plate knowing what's coming. It would be pretty fun up there. So, it's just, like I said, a lot of guys lost respect for some of the guys, and it seems like every day something new comes out. So.
By the way, that's Mike Trout going off, which is
By the way, that's what Mike Trout sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what he sounds like, and that's what he sounds like going off. I mean, that's it. But he, as he said, he also said in that interview that he got some text from some of the Astros.
Yeah.
In the players trying to basically explain, what happened and what was going on. As you heard him say there, he lost some respect for some of them and talked about how great it would be if you go to the plate, knowing exactly what the pitch is. And he did feel, I think that's one of the biggest things that players feel from other teams. And again, let's also be honest, other teams out there have been, trying to cheat as well, and sometimes throwing the stones can be interesting. But this is also people who got caught. And I think one of the biggest things for the players, and I think this is the way I would feel if I were still playing, is, wait a minute, they did something and got caught, and they're not being punished. And you get Rob Manfred, people will say, I understand the reasons. You gave them immunity so you could get the truth. And also it would have been a tough battle with the union, had they got involved with the way the players supposedly didn't get the memo and the info from the GM and from the manager, that it would have been difficult. But still, players, I think, see a lot of that as saying, you guys got caught with your hand in the cookie jar and zero happened to you for it.
Well, yeah, I think the players don't see all the rest of that. They say, well, you're willing to fight us on plenty of other stuff, but you weren't willing to fight to protect the integrity of the game. This one thing that as players and as the front office management and the commissioner's office in Major League Baseball, we're all supposed to have a shared hand in, like you said, some of that gets skewed because there are guys trying to cheat at various levels. But
absolutely.
And I heard Jeff Passan mention this on Spain and Company last night. There's a difference of what other people are accused of and the level that we have seen caught and very clearly spelled out here that we could only speculate in other instances. We can say everyone's trying to sign steal. A lot of people try and cheat and try and find various edges, but there's a difference between that and the severity of what we know and uncover here. And so listen, if you're one of the players that knows your house isn't clean and you're throwing this one, I have a feeling things are eventually going to come up for you. But for someone the level of Mike Trout to come out and speak out on something like this kind of indicates a level of severity that Major League Baseball definitely wasn't ready for.
It also speaks to how players are going to continue to react to this. Now, obviously, as everybody knows, I watch too much Law & Order. Like, Law & Order is one of my guilty pleasures. The original Law & Order. Don't give me any of the other versions. I want the original Law & Order.
Okay.
And, I will just watch episode after episode. In fact, once I hear the gung gung, I'm done. Like, there's just no point. This feels like a bad Law & Order episode where you've seen, we've all seen the episode, where they give the wrong people immunity. They give immunity, and then they figure out the whole crime, and they look around and say, oh, God, why did we do that? And there's a little moment here from Rob Manfred where he had to decide who to punish. And it feels like in the decision to punish management front office and not punish players are angry about it. Justin Turner, Dodgers third baseman, he's not happy with Manfred in general.
For him to devalue it the way he did yesterday is just tells me how out of touch he is with the players in this game. And, at this point, the only thing devaluing that trophy is that it says commissioner on it.
Yeah,
he said he's devaluing was when he said talked about when they said give back the World Series trophy, the
commissioner's trophy.
The commissioner Rob Manfred called the World Series trophy a piece of metal. He said we're going to give back a piece of metal, and a lot of players, Justin Turner spoke up there, but a lot of players that rubbed them the wrong way, saying, "Wait a minute, it's the honor certainly of winning the World Series, but." How much you love that trophy and what it represents. And here this guy called it a piece of metal because it fit the situation. When he's handing it out, it certainly isn't a piece of metal, these guys are saying. But now all of a sudden when people are saying, hey, maybe take it back from these guys, now it's just a piece of metal. So that certainly irks some of the players as well.
Yeah, the public skewering of a commissioner now has become something in Major League Baseball. And usually we're used to seeing in football, Roger Goodell get it all the time. Adam Silver in the NBA is beloved, and somewhere in the middle of that had kind of in Major League Baseball where, listen, we also know in recent years, going back especially to last offseason, there had been mounting frustration growing between the players, their union, and the rest of Major League Baseball because of the way things were happening financially. This has a whole different level of vitriol on this one. You can clearly see, like, it is genuine dislike from a lot of these players right now for the commissioner of the league.
Oh, yeah. If the Astros players, if anybody involved in this scandal at any point goes on to have a successful year, the comment will be they should have been suspended, shouldn't even been in the league in the first place. If when the moment comes that Manfred has to hand that piece of metal off to somebody in October this year, that's going to be contentious. This isn't going. The first time he suspends somebody for hitting a batter, this isn't going anywhere for players or commissioners.
What, the over/under was set at 83.5?
83.5.
Take the over.
Players hit by pitch for the Astros. By the way, I think the Indians led that last year with over 100 batters hit.
By the way, we buried the lead in all this. Jose Altuve confirmed tattoo on his collarbone.
Yeah.
We don't know if it was bad or not, but Jeff Passan, I think, indicated we have a tattoo on the collarbone.
Again, with that whole, did you hear what he did? He walked by the group of reporters, took his shirt off so people could see the tattoo, and then put another shirt on. So really trying to
it just got touched up. That's why it was. It was still bleeding. It's just got touched up.
Can it get any more ridiculous?
You know what's missing is punishment for the players in the Astros cheating scandal. What's missing? Brought to you by Bolt 24, all-day hydration for all-day athletes. Coming up, we're about to get to the stretch run of the NBA season. So who's going to make a run? We'll get the thoughts from one of our favorite experts next. It's Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.